Oh my god, dude.
What?
Bro.
What?
Instantly took it. Look at this.
It's finally done. After days of work, we got it all coated up. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be our part 2 video of doing the underside of the Z2H8, the 78 Camaro. So right now we got it all torn apart, subframes off, rear ends out, and we've been sanding away for hours. It seems like days, to be honest. It's probably been 2 or 3 days of just sanding, getting everything prepped up for our undercoating. So we're probably about 85% done, 90% done. So everything is all sanded. All we gotta do is clean it all up, start our body work with our fiberglass body filler, get everything nice and smooth, all the transitions from the new sheet metal, get them all buttoned up and smoothed out, and then we will be ready for our undercoating.
Holy shit. Oh my god, dude.
What?
Bro.
What?
Instantly took it. Look at this.
Whoa.
That was like, dude.
Hey, be careful.
Dude, watch this though.
Yeah. Alright guys, just giving you a little update. All the metal surfaces are prepped, all the primer that comes on the panels are off, just where the spots that I'm going to do some body work. And we're going to go ahead and probably seam seal these, just because these are going to be a pain to try to fiberglass. So we'll seam seal those. You're not going to be looking up there that much anyway. And then you know, patches like this we'll go ahead and go over with the body filler, and then same thing with these. This is definitely a time and lengthy process. It's pretty dirty too. So everything is sanded down. I probably started at 10 o'clock this morning. It's now 2 o'clock. So everything is sanded. All the welds are ground down. All the primer's off. And everything is ready for some body filler. So we're gonna do the fiberglass body filler, waterproof all the joints and seams that we did. Throw some etching primer on there. Go ahead and seam seal all of the joints. There's some other places where we took the factory seam sealer off, just put our own seam sealer back on there, because after a while it really gets hard and kind of just falls off. So went ahead and stripped that all down, so it's all be new, it's going to be fresh, it's all going to be watertight. And then we're going to go ahead and do a full coat of etching primer and then a full coat of our Raptor liner, so it'll be 100% waterproof. Well guys, FedEx just dropped off our 1-inch inner diameter DD, or sorry, I should say just 1-inch DD steering shaft. This is the 3/4 inch that we have on the car, and as you can see, it slips in there. Now I'd move this by hand, but it's actually really tight, which is a good thing, so we're not gonna have any slop in the steering. So this will make our steering shaft that is now solid. Right here, what we'll do is probably just cut this in half and then take, you know, 10 to 12 inches of that hollow tubing and put it right over it. That way, so when it's fully collapsed, it's probably only a foot long instead of about 2 feet. That way, just for safety precautions, get into a wreck, hit a wall, you know, you don't get harpooned by your steering wheel and the shaft for it. So 1-inch outer diameter, 3/4 outer diameter, and this is our new coupling, our U-joint we have that'll match with our 1-inch. And then I went ahead and got the first coat of the fiberglass body filler on. I kind of forgot how it is working with this stuff. It's one, it's really thick, and two, it kind of takes its time to dry. So I mixed it good. I mean, it's already hardening up, but I'm not going to get the sanding on it today. I'm going to leave that for tomorrow. And then yeah, I got the underside done, so we'll pick this up tomorrow. So it is the day after Christmas, you guys, and I hope each and every one of you had a great holiday. So we didn't touch the car yesterday. We're going to pick up back on it today. So last thing you saw was we were doing some body work with the fiberglass body filler, which is going to waterproof our seams and joints and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead, get to sanding, get to prepping the areas for the seam sealer, and go ahead and start making everything nice and waterproof, watertight, and ready for undercoating. So it seemed kind of odd, like the first part of this video I was wearing a t-shirt and then went to a long sleeve. Now I'm in a hoodie because yesterday decided to be like 45 degrees out, which is like the first time in like 10 years that I remember Christmas actually being cold. Usually it's raining in Florida where it's hot. So it's like 45 degrees now, I think a low 38. So being a Florida guy, I don't like the cold. I also wanted to mention real quick that we actually found out something new that we did not know when we were putting the subframe on for the first time. And there's actually a hole. Well, you see right here, there's a slotted hole for an alignment tool for the subframe and the car itself. So you check out right here, there's a hole here, and then you have that slotted hole there. And we're talking with our stepfather. He has a 76 Trans Am, and he said he's done a couple of these cars, the kind of unibody half subframe cars, and he was saying it's very important to get that lined up. That way when you go to put fenders and the nose and the radiator support all on, everything will line up nice and smooth. There's going to be no crazy amount of shimming to do, getting the fenders to line up, stuff like that. So something to definitely take in. I think someone actually commented on one of our videos saying there was alignment holes, and I wasn't really sure what he was trying to say. Either I couldn't comprehend it or he was just saying it a different way, but I think I know what you're talking about now. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but I am dusty as hell. So I've been sanding away on the fiberglass Bondo, and you know, I did a pretty good coat, I'm not gonna lie. I got it pretty well far. So I only have to do this thin layer of icing, that's what you're seeing right now. But mostly, I mean, it came out really smooth. So I only had very few imperfections. There was a little bit of lip on both sides, probably because when it dried it shrinked just a hair, so which is kind of normal, so it's fine. So I think after this one layer of icing, we're going to be totally smooth, and we'll just move on to the next section. So while this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and actually work on our steering. I'm not going to really install it or do anything like that, but as you can see, there's two set screws on here, and this is pretty thick stuff. So what I'm going to do is probably drill maybe halfway on both sides of the thickness of the of this DD shaft, and then go ahead and have these set screws sit about halfway in there. That way I can tighten down the lock nut. And all right, I think I found out the optimal steering shaft compression ratio for a slip shaft, or a compressible shaft, I should say. So right here, as you can see, I'm just using this as a guide. So if I have this bar start right here at this line, I will have technically about 7 inches of compression to the U-joint on the steering shaft, or the coupler. 7 inches of compression, and let's say I put a 3-inch overlap of the outer sleeve, so this bar would sit, or the outer sleeve would sit about right here, so about right here on the outer bar, and then going from that line to the end of that U-joint, I have 7 inches of bar left. So in theory, that's getting most compression, so we'll have 7 inches total of compression. That's how far that would go. So I was thinking about trying to do 8, but then I'd only have 6 inches of shaft, so it wouldn't even make sense. I'd have a wasted inch of space. So I'm going to use 7 inches, 3-inch overlap, and then I'll give me 7 total inches of compression. So I think that's how you're supposed to do it, I think. I'm going to look into it real quick. I just kind of did this out of my head, just wanted to see what I would come up with. So I think that's going to work. Alright guys, a few days later, took a little break from the car, and Austin's doing some fiberglass bodywork underneath the car. we got the steering shaft done, so our 7 inches of compression turned out to be good. So right now it's in its optimal position, 3 inches of overlap. And if I go ahead and push on it and collapse it, we are fully collapsed, and you can see the steering shaft is right before the U-joint on the coupler. So we have the perfect steering shaft now. We got our dash panel from Custom Works Performance. So this will sit in place of the factory, you know, gauge cluster and stuff like that. So got a sweet sticker from them, and also our new Poly 7-inch digital dash. So that's going to sit on there and just right about like that, you know, obviously straight and centered, but it's going to come out good, it's going to look good, and it's going to be functional. So we went with the 7-inch because we got a smoking deal on it. The 6.86 would have been nice. The Pro Dash would have been even nicer, but I just don't see the use of spending $2,000 on a dash like that. So that 7-inch is going to give us everything we need, and then, you know, and then some. So we'll be good with that. So we're going to continue on laying some body filler, get it all sanded up, get it primed, and hopefully get it coated. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see. New day, you guys. And we got all the body work, all the sanding done last night. So me and my brother were up probably, I mean, we're out here probably till 8 o'clock, started at 10, so roughly 10 hours of work. You know, obviously we took lunch and breaks and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and go under the car. I'll show you guys what we did so far. So this is the underside, and this is our trunk pan. You can see all the body work is done. There are smooth transitions. There are no rough spots. There's no high lips, anything like that. So anywhere we did a trunk pan, floor pan, it all got bondoed. A shot of the front side, you know, all this panel is all new. So the same thing on this side, all that. So this is our Raptor liner. This is going to be our undercoating for the car. Now this is made by U-Pole Raptor liner. We got four bottles of the stuff. We got our hardener, and then we also have U-Pole acid number 8. This is going to be our etching primer. So the nice stuff about this is we don't have to sand that. Now if we used our feather fill, our Evercoat feather fill, this stuff over here, or finish sand, sorry, we'd have to sand that down and then go over it with the bed liner. With this, the acid number 8, the etching primer, we have 12 hours from when we spray this on the car to put this on the car. If we wait longer than 12 hours, we have to sand the etching primer to prep it for the bed liner. So it's kind of a window from when we spray the primer to do the undercoating. So, but certain areas like this, underneath in here, there is a factory seam seal in here. So we took all that out because it was kind of falling out, it was old, it was dried, cracked, whatever. So we're gonna redo that. Those portions that we spray now, we will go ahead and scuff those up before we do our undercoating. So you can get these kits on eBay, you can get it from U-Pole, you can get them on Amazon. So this entire kit minus the primer, I think we got it for like 95 bucks or something like that. I just looked now, they're like $130 now. But altogether, all of this stuff weighs 13 pounds. So it's not a huge weight difference between an epoxy primer or an epoxy coating versus an bed liner coating. I think this stuff looks way better, and it also is superior for protection, in my opinion. I think it's just gonna look way better. It's gonna protect us more. It's gonna protect all the hard work we've just done over the past several days. You know, sanding, blocking, all the body filler, stuff like that. So 13 pounds, conventionally it'd probably be like 3 or 4 pounds, maybe, just depending if you put a primer coat or not. So what's nice about this, it comes with its own gun. Own regulator. We got nozzles for it. This goes into the can itself, and then you have a little nozzle for the gun. And then all you do is mix some of this hardener into the bottle, shake it up real well, and go ahead. So discussing with our stepfather, Barry, he said we'll probably use all 4 of these. And now that I kind of picked these up, I think we will, because we're going to do a nice heavy coat because you don't want to thin this stuff out. It is waterproof, so if we do a heavier coat, we'll have better protection. It'll fill in all the little cracks and crevices and stuff like that. So you guys can see underneath the car, there's a bunch of little holes or cracks or seams or whatever. It's just kind of how they made cars back in the day, at least in '78. Got everything sanded as well. I went over everything again with some Scotch-Brite just to make sure everything was sanded. So now what we're gonna do is wax and grease remover. Got my little tank filled up. We're gonna wipe it down, and then we're gonna go ahead and mask it up once it's wiped down. So we'll wipe everything down probably twice just to be sure. Some of the plastic, probably drape the entire car. That way we can probably tape it to the floor. Try to get less overspray everywhere on tools, the workbench, rear end, stuff like that. So try to keep everything nice and tidy. That way everything just kind of easier to clean up. All right, let's get this guy taped up. All right, so it's day 896 of masking and taping and, you know, doing the underside of the car. So everything is masked up. This is what I came up with. I'll have another sawhorse on the other side just to drape that forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this. None of it washes that way or this way. So probably a little overkill. Got the jack stands wrapped up too. So like I say, I'm probably a little overkill, but I'd rather have too much protection than not enough. Just because that stuff gets everywhere, and when it hardens, it does not like to come off. So the less I get everywhere, the less I got to clean up. So it's my theory. So we'll see how it holds up. I'm gonna go ahead and get my respirator on, and we're gonna go ahead and tack off all the underside with the tack cloth, put some gloves on, and go ahead and spray the etching primer. That way we can let that dry for a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and get the hardener mixed up with the bed liner and go ahead and start spraying. All right, guys, coat of etch primer is on. Sorry if it's a little loud. Got the Hurricane 3000 over there blowing, trying to vent the garage out. But yeah, first coat went on great. So go ahead and put a second coat on here in about 10-15 minutes. I gotta say, this stuff is actually pretty good. Like, I was literally spraying it like upside down. It was coming out like perfect stream. So pretty impressed by that stuff. So lays out good, tacked everything off. So now we're gonna let this dry, put a second coat, let that dry for probably about an hour. It says you can wait about 10-15 minutes, so I'm gonna wait about an hour. Why not? Get ready for the undercoating, get everything mixed up, so that way we are ready to go when the stuff dries. I tried filming while I was spraying, and I was getting stuff all over the camera. So paint and animatronics don't go good together. So unfortunately, you guys will not see me spraying the bed liner, as much fun as that would be. Yeah, I just don't want to ruin my GoPro. All right, guys, it's done. It's finally done. After days of work, we got it all coated up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this on a time lapse. We're gonna unwrap everything, and then I'll go through and show you guys everything. It looks freaking awesome. So this is how the undercoating came out, you guys. This is a wheel tub, and look at it. It just looks freaking immaculate. It looks brand new. I mean, this stuff came out so good. Like you would never even know that we put a new trunk pan in this thing. I mean, you didn't even know over here where we seam sealed it. It came out freaking perfect. I'm so happy and so glad that this is all over. Bunch of hard work, bunch of sanding, bunch of prep work. But in the end, it was all worth it. And this is why we chose this stuff. I mean, it's a nice, smooth texture. It's not like super hard or super rough. So it's nice to the touch. It looks great. And, you know, this stuff lasts. Like, you know, we've done customer cars at my stepdad's shop that, you know, are now 15 years old. You know, and that it's still there. It still looks exactly like this. Might be a little faded, but, you know, it still looks really good. So, you know, you never even know this is a new floor pan. So that was the whole point of this stuff. Went a little different here on the bottom. Kind of wanted to just do the bottom of the where the frame bolts up, just a little bit on the frame, the trans tunnel, and then back down to the bottom. So sometimes people go straight across, or they'll go up a little higher. So all this can be painted as well. So if we go and decide to do the firewall red, we'll just sand down a little bit so you won't see any of the black, and it'll all match. So a couple tips I can give you guys is, one, wrap your jack stands in tin foil. Makes for easy cleanup and covers them really fast. So, and also when you're doing it, make sure you have a good quality respirator, like not one of those like just ones that go over your face. Like get a good actual respirator, because you know, with this on, I couldn't smell anything. Like I couldn't smell any fumes. I took it off to when I was done, and I had to walk outside. I couldn't breathe in here. So, you know, if I didn't have this, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have died probably, or had like the best time of my life, either one. But yeah, definitely get a good quality respirator. So as you guys just saw, the undercoating came out awesome. It looks perfect, looks great. You won't have to worry about any rusting or anything like that. Everything's waterproofed and sealed and ready for final assembly. So we can put the subframe back on, the rear end back on. That'll be next week's video. But yeah, let us know what you guys think, you know, down below. We're getting a lot more comments from you guys lately, which is awesome, because that's how we react with you guys. And really appreciate all the like and the supports. So I think we're at like 325 subscribers right now, so which is awesome. You know, so if you guys have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're here, I don't know why you wouldn't be. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and we will see you in the next episode.